Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at this 2021 Mercedes-Benz E450. The E-Class is Mercedes' midsize sedan. You can think of it as a BMW 5 Series or Audi A6 competitor. It was last fully redesigned for the 2017 model year, and it receives a facelift for 2021. That facelift consists of updated styling front and rear, different wheel options, different colors, slightly redesigned interior, and then some updated powertrain offerings. Speaking of powertrain, the E-Class is available with 4 different powertrains for 2021. The base model is the E350 that uses a turbocharged 4-cylinder. This one is an E450. It uses a turbocharged 3-liter inline 6-cylinder. It makes 362 horsepower and 369 pounds-feet of torque. Then there's an AMG E53 model, which uses a more powerful version of the engine in the E450. And then at the top of the lineup is the AMG E63, which uses a 4-liter twin-turbo V8. It makes over 600 horsepower. The E-Class is available in 4 different body styles. You've got the sedan, that's this one. There's a coupe and a convertible, and then there's a wagon. Although for 2021 and going forward, the wagon is only available in 2 different versions now. You've got the all-terrain model, which you can think of as an Audi all-road competitor. It's like a raised up wagon with air suspension and some plastic body cladding to kind of give the impression that it's an SUV. And then there's the AMG E63 wagon, which would compete with something like the Audi RS6 Avant. But those are the only 2 available variants of the wagon starting for 2021. Anyway though, let's do a tour of the E-Class and then take it out for a drive. Give you a look at the updated styling. Everything's a little bit more rounded up front and in the back. I like the red color on this one. It's a really deep maroon. Power trunk, it isn't huge, but it's about what you would expect from a mid-size sedan, I suppose. Closes pretty quickly. The interior in this vehicle is extremely nice, like it is in most modern Mercedes. I've driven several Mercedes SUVs this year, and their interior designs are maybe a little bit more utilitarian, whereas the E-Class here leans a little bit more toward the luxurious. But either way, interiors in these Mercedes are very, very nice. This one has the dual panel infotainment gauge cluster display, like I think most, if not all, Mercedes have these days. So you get your touchscreen infotainment system here and then a digital gauge cluster right here. You can also operate that infotainment system via this touchpad on the center console here. It's pretty nice. It gives you tactile feedback in the form of vibrations anytime you press it. I find myself preferring just the touch controls though. You can change a lot in these modern Mercedes. Here we will change the theme of the infotainment system in the gauge cluster. So right now it is in the classic style. Here we'll go to sport. And then here we'll go to progressive. Not sure why it's called progressive, but that looks pretty neat. You get a digital clock. Anyway though, everything else in here is extremely nice. This is real wood. You can feel the grain here. This is nice high-end leather. The dashboard is squishy and rubberized. Center console has cup holders right there. You've got HVAC controls here. What's nice about this setup is that none of the HVAC controls are in the infotainment system. Everything has its hard buttons. Heated and ventilated seats are on the door panel here, just like the seat controls. One thing I noticed though is that this one at least does not have a heated steering wheel. I couldn't find the button, and then I tried this. Hey Mercedes,
how can I help?
Turn on the heated steering wheel.
I'm sorry, this vehicle does not have steering wheel heating.
There you go. Anyway, here's the window sticker. Fuel economy is rated by the EPA at 23 city, 30 highway at 26 combined. That's pretty impressive given that this vehicle puts out 362 horsepower and 369 pounds-feet of torque. According to Mercedes-Benz website, it goes from 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. As equipped, this one comes in at $79,170. It's about what you'll expect to pay for a well-equipped midsize executive sedan such as this one. It's pretty well optioned. You've got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, of course, plenty of active safety features, heated and ventilated seats, high-end leather. This is a Designo color. That's a $1,080 option. Base price is $62,000, and then once you start adding options, That's what brings you up to that $79,170 figure. Let's take a look at the back seat. So decent room back here. You sit down in, the belt line feels a little high, but it's pretty nice back here. One thing I noticed though, there isn't a heated second row. Maybe that's part of the package that would gain you a heated steering wheel. Kind of expected to find that back here. So without any heated seat controls or HVAC controls, you just get a 12-volt outlet and then vents that are shared with the front row. Burmester sound system. Speaker grates are really nice. They're like a machined aluminum. You can actually catch your finger on them. They're kind of sharp. Other than that, not a lot to see back here. So there's a storage compartment in the armrest, but there are not... there's your cup holders. So they pop out. This is kind of a European style. Not the best design. I'd be a little bit wary of putting a hot drink in there, but they'll get the job done in most cases. One thing I wanted to mention here before we go for a little drive, this thing has a fully glass roof with what is effectively 2 sunroofs. So you've got this one that actually opens and it has a shade over it right now. And then in the back here, you've got another one that goes over the back seats and it has its own shade as well. This one doesn't open, this one does open. So you can see when you're opening them, the shade for both actually collects in this panel right here. And then so that's as far as it opens, far enough. And then with that shade open, you get a lot of light in the cabin. So nice sunroof setup here. Okay, going for a ride in the updated 2021 Mercedes-Benz E450. This thing is just super smooth. I've been getting a lot of press loaners lately, and what was nice this week is when I finished up with the other 2 vehicle loans I had, and I could just focus on driving this thing for all my errands, anytime I need to run out, because it is just that much nicer than the average vehicle. There's 50, so pretty quick. This isn't an AMG model, so the performance isn't insane, but this is one of the nicest executive touring cars I've ever driven. This thing would be great on the highway over long distances. Obviously, it's a German car, and German cars are all designed to go on the Autobahn, so I have plenty of confidence that this thing could travel at 120 miles per hour for a sustained period of time without experiencing any issues. There's no vibration, wind noise is at a minimum. Suspension's really nice. It's soft, but it still manages to be somewhat sporty. Layout of the controls is really nice in these Mercedes. I think the customer base for these vehicles tends to be a little bit older, a little bit more experienced, and oftentimes that demographic is intimidated by technology. I would not be scared of this infotainment and dashboard layout at all. I've driven a lot of Mercedes this year. It's different, it looks different at first, but it's actually all very intuitive, and I've come to like it a lot. This is probably one of the best interior and design layouts in the industry right now. Something I really like is this one has active seat bolsters, so when I turn right, the left seat bolster comes in to account for the outward G-forces that you experience sometimes when you make an abrupt turn. Like this right seat bolster just gripped me on that turn. It's really different at first, but you come to really, really enjoy that. It's the little things like that. All around, these seats are really comfortable. The thigh bolstering is nice. You can adjust that. So if you have long legs like I do, it's nice to be able to adjust the seat bottom to give you a little bit more leg support. Another thing I want to add on a somewhat related note, I review a lot of cars, and something that I've learned is that good interior ergonomics and smart feature design isn't necessarily correlated with the price that you pay for the vehicle. I've driven a few $25,000 compact sedans that have exceptional feature design, great interior layout. Everything's just easy to use. And on the flip side of that, I've driven some six-figure cars that have terrible interior layouts, that have bad infotainment systems. You have to do 3 different things just to adjust the heated seats. So smart design and a high price don't necessarily go hand in hand. I think that's something you should look out for. Don't just walk into a luxury car dealership and expect that those vehicles are going to have superior layouts and feature design when compared to a more mainstream vehicle that might cost half as much. But these modern Mercedes actually do. They have exceptional ergonomics. Features are smart. It's easy to learn this infotainment system. Things that can be adjusted can be adjusted. It's all pretty intuitive. There are more buttons in these interiors than in most cars, admittedly, but the learning curve isn't too crazy. Spend a week with any of these and I think you'll get the hang of just about everything. So you can look at it this way. With these modern Mercedes, yes, you are paying for the badge on the hood. Yes, you are paying for a full-on luxury experience, but you also get really smart, intuitive design. We'll go over the speed bump here. Pretty smooth. This active seat bolstering is the best. I love it. Came in pretty far on that right turn there. Shifter is on the column, which is a throwback for some. Of course, it doesn't really function like those old column shifters. It's more of just a button that's operated via stock. Really high-end backup camera as well. The colors are pretty vivid. I think it's, I would call that high definition. That's almost 4K quality, I would say. So there's your look at the updated 2021 Mercedes-Benz E450. This car is just really nice and comfortable to drive. Of course, you're going to pay $80,000 for it, but for someone who has earned the privilege of paying $80,000 for a car, I don't think this thing would let you down. It's fast, it is comfortable, it's fuel efficient too, which is crazy. I mean, EPA 26 mpg combined, that's pretty impressive, especially considering it makes 362 horsepower. You've got your sporty features, paddle shifters, heavily adjustable seats with this active bolstering that I find to be really neat. You can change the LED lighting. You can change the theme of the gauge cluster and of all the displays here. It's comfortable enough for 4 people, 5 in a pinch, a nice big sunroof. Yeah, this thing is pretty much the standard when it comes to high-end executive touring cars, and I like it a lot. Thanks for watching.